Hey, fellow Star citizens, this is Star Wolf, host today for the Wolf Pack. Today we've got Drevin and CanadianEgg back on the panel, so hello, both you guys.
Hello.
What's up?
And how's your weeks been? Anything fun happen? Interesting?
Not too much. Heavily getting into the WildStar beta. It's been a lot of fun.
Oh,
Yeah, looking forward to that game. It's been a while since I played a decent MMO that I thought was decent. So
well, is that
looking
one
forward to that.
shaping up?
I think so. Yeah, it's quite a lot of fun. I feel like it's refreshing to see an MMO that doesn't like sit there and take themselves to be known as something more than it actually is. They kind of just presented themselves like this is what you'll do in a comedic way, and that's pretty much the experience you get. I kind of like that.
Okay. Yeah, I was actually looking at them about a year ago pretty intensely. Kind of dropped off a little bit. I don't know my expectations about that game. I don't know what it was, but I just kind of slowly died on that one. But still looks good. I'll probably give it a go sooner or later. But
Yeah.
cool. How about you, Canadian Egg?
Not a whole lot happening. I've been playing some Driver San Francisco. It's got a neat little gimmick where you switch other bodies.
Oh, yeah, that one. Okay.
Yeah,
I know what
yeah,
you're talking about now.
yeah. That's what caught my eye because I'm not the biggest driving game fan, but I've been having some fun with that one.
Yep.
Other than that, there's not a whole lot going on.
Well, me personally, I've been playing some Space Engineers, and it's pretty good stuff. Making them ships. What got me into it, I saw someone had built what was it?
Idris.
Yeah, it was the Idris, yeah. And they did a really good job with it. And I actually was like, if you can build that in that game, I'm gonna just buy it as $15 on Steam, and I did, and I just got that little workshop add-on and flew around in my Idris a little bit.
Oh, nice.
But it's pretty cool. Pretty cool game. I recommend it. So, all right, let's get started on today's theme. So we're moving over to the hunt, and we are looking at the manufacturer MISC. All right, MISC, and they have kind of a smaller lineup. So we're gonna kind of just run right through these ships. Drevin, you want to go ahead and give us the outline for the MISC ship lineup?
Okay, well, the MISC, they have kind of a different design philosophy than a lot of the other manufacturers. So they don't have what I'd say is a lot of ships, but they have as a line called the Hull MISC Cargo Hull series, where they have A through D, A, B, C, D, and each one's geared towards a different type. And currently, the only one we have a lot of information about is the MISC Hull C, which is one of the or fun goal that we reached. I can't remember exactly which one, but it's somewhere in the 30s. That one's going to be for smuggling, and so I guess it's supposed to be a highly modular system. Then we have the Freelancer and the Starfarer. You guys have probably seen many videos about them. We'll go into in depth about them a little later. And then we have the MISC Fiera, which has only been mentioned in lore, so we don't actually know a whole lot about it. I think it has some kind of detachable cargo system. That's about all I know.
Okay, cool. I'm not even going to hit on in detail the Hull C and the Fiera because, like you mentioned, we really don't know much at all about them. Too much about the Hull C. We do know a little bit. But, so we're going to kind of glaze over those because more details are going to come out. And, of course, we'll talk about that kind of stuff later when we actually have something to, more than just speculation. We want to do more than just speculate on some of these ships. So we do have quite a bit of information on the Freelancer and the Starfarer because, look, you can get a Freelancer in your hangar right now if you wanted to. So let's go ahead and start there with the Freelancer. Now, Freelancer, we talked about it last week on the Wolfpack. I talked about it on my channel, to my demise. It's a ship that, it's heavy. Its main focus is long-range exploration. It's a mercantile ship. You can, it has a jump drive. You can and its description basically says like you're the kind of like lone or duo explorer party that is out on the bounds of space, out on the far reaches of the boundaries of space, civilized space, and that's kind of where you can see a freelancer operate at. It's kind of like a mid-level mercantile operation. You can go ahead and run out of your freelancer. And so, yeah, that's kind of where we're seeing it at. It's a 2-crew ship for that kind of role. That's really the go-to 2-player that are into trading exploration. This is what we've got so far. That's what we got given to us. There's really not many other ships that do, a 2-man crew exploration and trade role. So that's what the freelancer is. That's what it does. And also a fact that I have seen, hammered on the forums time and time again is the fact that it looks very much like the Serenity from Firefly. And I think, I heard it was actually conceived or designed or concepted out as inspiration specifically from that ship, which I think is ugly, but that's beside the point. I do like the character.
Don't start this again.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. Step away. Just step away. I will leave it with this good point. I do like the inside of the Serenity. That's where the charm and the character comes from, I think. On the flip side, though, the Freelancer is nothing like the Serenity on the inside. So that's kind of the caveat for me. It's just like, I wish it had, multi-roomed, compartments in this thing. That would sell it for me. But anyways, so that's the Freelancer. Any of you guys want to mention on the Freelancer before we move on to the Starfarer?
Nope. You pretty much covered it all.
Yeah.
All right, so the Starfarer. This is the fuel tanker. This thing is pretty big, and it's basically going to be your in-space gas station. So right on. I think that's like, the first time I heard about, fuel tank, I mean, it makes sense because you have some ships that don't have jump drives, jump capability, and they're going to be needing fuel. You're going to need to refuel before you make it to a farther away destination if you're not doing your jump drive deals. So the idea made sense to me. It's just that I kind of like in my head I keep thinking of like just a gas station. Like, are you going to be just this dude out in space with fuel to sell and people come up to you and say, "Hey guy, what's your prices here?" And you go ahead and, you haggle them on price, and they're like, "Okay, I guess I need it enough. I'm going to go ahead and buy it from you." And so you can kind of barter with them, and, while they're fueling up, you just shooting the breeze with them and maybe selling them other goods from your cargo, So I don't know. Maybe there's going to be some kind of little exchange there besides just fuel. Maybe you can make it all out like a gas station, like have other materials or equipment that you can actually sell while you're fueling up or whatever it is. So I think the Starfarer sounds very cool, and it's weird because I really didn't see running a gas station as being interesting at all before I started to think about it in space. Running a gas station in space, I mean, I think about the movie Spaceballs when I think of gas stations in space. The part where they're in there and the alien comes out the guy's stomach. Something like that. Just
the diner and gas station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, what do you guys think about the Starfarer? What am I romanticizing it a little too much? Is it just going to be?
No, I like your idea. I never thought about I did think about not necessarily thinking as a gas station, but just like sort of like refueling people.
Yeah.
But I never thought because it's going to have a large cargo hold, so you can be like, hey, and if you're interested, I have many fine goods to sell. It is going to have I believe it's going to have a small refinery on it if I'm correct for mining.
Yeah. I'm not sure about that, but I mean, as
Wasn't
with
it the one ship that can do that?
there is a mining ship, and we'll go over that one a little later, but um, they did say that you can opt out of doing liquid cargo and doing solid cargo with it. So, I mean, I'm sure you can do a wider range of things with it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's designed to me looks like with how the wings at the back. It
Yep.
seems very empty, and it looks like you can clamp something in between those and lift it off.
Oh yeah,
Lift
that
it.
could
So,
that could be it.
possibility.
Yeah, it
And like
looks
that's sort
yeah.
of I
It
initially thought that with the freelancer. Like I was like, it's a cargo ship, and it looked like to me just on the initial picture that I saw that you were able to clamp things on the bottom, and then I also thought that with the cutlass, but I was wrong with both of those. So I'm hoping I'm not going to be wrong with this one because I want that sort of like the how the Aurora loads in, but just on a much larger scale.
yeah, it looks like just the shape of that ship, the hull is just so like where the cargo is. It's just like a bug, it's just fat and round.
I
Anyways,
always thought it looked like a tortoise.
oh yeah.
But yeah, you're
Okay.
right.
I see
It
that.
does.
I really think it looks like a tortoise.
Yeah. Okay. Tortoise ship.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that brings us to the next topic, which is yours, Canadian Egg, talking about are there any standout ships here? I know we only have really two to talk about, but
Yeah. Um, as for like fuel tankers and stuff, we don't have a whole lot of information on them right now. The Starfarer is really the only one we know about in detail, at least. So you can't really say much about that. But with the Freelancer, for transportation, I would say it's a good ship. It's definitely not going to be like the best, but it's going to be the affordable transport ship for starting out as a merchant. As an exploration ship, though, I think it'll
yeah,
serve great.
yeah,
I That's what, like, when I looked at my freelancer, I wasn't like, well, I'm going to do trading in that. I was like, no, I want to go exploring. I just want to go fly and just go look at things. With the cargo bay with that huge cargo bay, and you could easily fit a vehicle in there. So just laying down on a planet and go all Mass Effect on it. So that's what, yeah, I think it'll be a great exploration ship, but not in a good transport ship, but certainly not the best.
yeah. If you've got money to burn, then yes, there are plenty of other options. But if you don't, which is probably going to be everyone, in this game, you aren't going to want to just burn through money and just like,
Yeah.
whatever. I'll hire NPCs at the drop of a hat to fill out my constellation, and I'll buy it even though it's twice as expensive as a freelancer. Like I think it's going to be on people's minds, and that's enough to say like freelancer. Yes, it's gonna be cheaper. It's gonna be a cheap option, but it's gonna be a good cheap option.
Yeah, and it's perfectly reasonable because yeah, like $225 is a big load of cash for something you can't really play yet.
yeah.
So it makes sense. Like yeah, the freelancer is an affordable transport ship.
Yeah. Well, I would piggyback onto your statement and say, like, I'm with you. Freelancer, I think, is, as of now, the standout premier explorer mercantile ship for a crew of two. The Starfarer, I'm not sure because really we don't really have much, like you said, like we don't have much on the whole tanker idea,
Yeah.
like what's going to be good as far as like weapons and speed goes. We can kind of estimate, we can approximate, say, okay, well, thrusters, we can at least tell if these ships weigh comparably similar and one has like double the
Yep.
thrusters, it's going to be faster. But with the tanker, it's kind of like, well, we're not really sure how that mechanic is going to work completely. Like, how are you going to sell it? How are you going to refuel people? How much,
Hmm.
how long will that liquid gas go? And, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, like, yeah, I'm not sure I can speak on the Starfarer very much, but
In the write up when the Starfarer was originally unlocked, I don't know if it still says it, but they said one of the most common modifications for the Starfarer was liquid foodstuffs in the tanking system, so you could transport food around the galaxy as well. So I don't, I mean, you're not going to be locked into just fuel. You
yeah.
know what I mean? As far as tanker aspect, they also said that there was a
That's gross, by the
And
way.
Yeah.
what? Oh yeah, it
Liquid.
is
I can just imagine this huge vat of just liquid food.
porridge.
Like, come up to the
Porridge.
straw, get your allotment. Your daily. Gross.
That's great. I mean, at that point, it kind of looks like a I don't. Never mind. I'm not gonna go there. Anyways,
Just yeah.
they,
makes
they
sense.
wrote in there. There's an armored tactical variant called the Starfarer Gemini. Star G is the abbreviation that is contracted by Aegis to make for the military. So that'll be your military fuel tanker. I wonder if that'll still be in the game. I would hope so, since they still have it written on the site. But it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
So it seems like so we know you can switch out your liquid cargo space for like, solid stuff. So who's saying you can't like throw a couch in there and have it be make it an RV?
Ooh, nice. That's a big RV. Maybe like a mansion RV.
Yeah, like that thing's bigger than a constellation, so it's definitely, if you can do that, if you can customize the inside of there, it's definitely a viable option.
Yeah, make it like a ghetto nightclub. String some lights in there. Just throw a bunch
It's
of
the-
neon.
The cheaper version of the cruise liner,
Yeah.
just like yeah.
Oh yeah, I could see that. That would be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And I just want to say something about the freelancer again.
Yeah.
Just because you mentioned weapons, and like another reason I think that it's a really good exploration ship is that it's certainly not defenseless.
Yeah.
You got the man turret at the back, you got the two massive cannons on the side, and all those missiles. Obviously, once you fire the missiles, like you can't reuse them. You have to go get some more.
Yeah.
But the cannons and the man turret certainly like make it not a threat, but something that, say, a 300i might not just want to go attack by himself.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, the stats don't do the cannons they have on that thing justice. You got tiers, 2s and 3s, and for the weapons, and it doesn't look necessarily beefy, but then if you look at it in the hangar, I mean, the cannons that they have on that thing, they are beefy. So
Yeah.
they're, not all weapons in a same tier are treated equally. You have different weapons that do different things, and these look like they mean business. So those cannons look pretty nasty.
Yeah, and then you got the jump drive, so if you do run into some trouble, no one's saying you can't just zip out of there, right? So
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. So, anyways, So that's the hunt. We're wrapping that up there. What do you guys, before we get into the howling session? Well, I guess this will be my question. This is my question for the howling session. MISC, like, what do you see that manufacturer as being? Because you've got a fuel tanker.
yeah, it's a pretty weird one.
Yeah, I mean, like, what are they going? Where do you see them going in the future with their line? What are they going to stretch into? Do you think?
Economic, like, you know what I mean? Business stuff that, like, industrial. I should say, actually, industrial.
Yeah, they're going for that industrial mercantile exploration area, but I think it's also kind of, they're so interesting because they're, as far as I know, the only manufacturing company that is aligned with a joint company of aliens. Like they're human Jean
Oh yeah,
ships.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think they're trying to broaden the horizon to release ships that are highly specialized at what they do, also with some interesting tech in them. So I don't know. It'd be really interesting to see where they go. If they will create a fighter at some point. I mean, in the name alone, they're focusing on industrial.
And that's just something that I've had a curiosity towards is they do have some interesting ship concepts going on, and ships that we have available to view the freelancer. I mean, it's just kind of like it's very opposite of Origin. It's very much, I think, the other direction. Origin, you see like sleek. MISC, you see kind of like bulky, and
Yeah,
so I don't know. And
Yeah,
functional
Origin's-
and working. So
Origin like goes for style,
yeah,
and MISC goes just more for they sort of don't disregard style, because I do really like the look of the freelancer, but function.
functionality. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to relate it to anything real world, it'd be like a caterpillar, or any. Well, I guess I shouldn't say caterpillar. I'm talking about the construction manufacturer of machines, Caterpillar,
Mm-hmm.
in real life.
Hmm.
Not yeah. Anyways, but I mean, even in the name alone, I guess I should put it out there in case people don't know. MISC stands for Musashi Industrial and Starflight Concern. So I mean, it's they're focusing on traders and large corporations for utilitarian needs rather than trying to make a luxury ship like I would say Origin,
Yeah.
or Anvil making more militarily designed ships.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, well, that's my topic.
So my topic for the howling session would be out of our MISC lineup now, which one do you lean more towards?
I would choose the Starfarer for sure because it's just weird. It's just like this weird ship and it's this weird concept of I'm going to be a gas station in this MMO, like in this fantasy world. Out of all the things I could choose to do in outer space in a space age environment, I'm going to be a gas station clerk. It's just weird. So I don't know. Maybe that's why I gravitate towards it. Maybe the actual gameplay won't be fun, but I just see like chewing the fat with just some random passerby while while I make a little bit of money off of him and help him on his way. That just kind of seems cool to me. So I would be open towards that, although I'm sure it's gonna have a pretty price, and I wouldn't be down with anything over $200 with that at the time. I just can't justify that kind of fascination with that ship for such a big price tag. So
Hey, it gives you a goal to work to in the game, right? So,
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
because yeah, that thing is bigger than the Constellation. It's definitely going to be over 200.
yeah,
So yeah, it's going to be on the pricey side, but the good thing about this game is that you can just get everything in game. No pay
Yeah.
to win.
yep. So that's me.
Um, I guess for me, I I could go either way with both of them. I enjoy both of them enough that I would not mind owning them. I would say if you're looking for money though, Starfare. I mean, fuel fuel is going to be
It's
huge
going to be
for
huge. Yeah.
everybody. I mean, there's a lot of people with Starfares, but the universe is pretty big. Say you're traveling one system and you happen to notice that fuel's kind of scarce there, and people are on their exploration runs and stuff like that. They need to refuel. You might be the only Starfarer in that instance or whatever. And there could be quite a bit of money to be made there. Not to mention there will be in systems that are starving for fuel. There will be quests that are created like, hey, say you're part of maybe there's a fuel tankers organization out there. They're like, hey, we need fuel in this sector, and you'll fly out there and you'll drop out fuel for credits, and I'm sure it would be pretty good business.
Yeah,
The freelancer, I would use that one as probably an exploration ship personally. Mercantile wise, I don't know. I think there's other ships that you could do better with, though that is cheaper than like say the Constellation in my opinion. So, well, not in my opinion, it's fact, but I
Yeah.
would say,
No, I think the Constellation's actually cheaper. Yeah, that's just my opinion, though. Everyone's entitled to their own.
but yeah, I would say I would explore with that one. I mean, plus the whole advent of only needing another person to run it effectively is a big thing. I mean,
yeah,
you can look at a ship and stats wise all day, but at the same time you have to factor in the human component of it. If I'm sharing the responsibility of flying a ship with myself and one other, there's a lot less I need to actually worry about. Whereas for something like the Idris, flying that ship, the responsibility is split 10 ways. You know what I mean? And that's a lot. I mean, when you really think about it, if you want a really tight knit run ship, then you have to have 9 other people that are at least decent up to a certain level of what you would expect to play with you and for the same amount of time as you. So
yeah,
I think those ships will be fun, but me personally, as much as I like the Constellation, as much as I like the Freelancer, if I'm just doing some long range exploration, I would stick with the freelancer, because that way I'm not going to have to bank on that, the extra 3 people that I need.
Yeah, and if you want to go the NPC route, you all you have to do is, buy on one
Yeah.
guy, opposed
Hmm.
to, you know, three or more with like Constellation and up. So like, yeah, that totally makes sense to me. Why you'd want to do that? So
Yeah, it's the same for me. I could easily go both. Like I already own a freelancer, and I do plan on getting a Starfarer because it seems like something that I would love to take exploring as well. Except the freelancer would just be like I do want to use my freelancer for exploring. I'm gonna have other ships to do transport with, so yeah, that would be me and a buddy just getting ready and then going flying for a bit. Just go do whatever. But the Starfare, I could see like not only using it commercially, but like say if I have a bunch of friends that want to take their own ships out and we do are going for a long distance and not there ain't any jump points nearby or there's no gas stations nearby, I'll make sure my Starfare is fully fueled up and then we'll go out just for just for a long distance flight and when they run low on fuel, they come over to me and I just keep topping them up. And then when we get to the next gas station, I fuel up my Starfarer.
I'm just a bit worried about the Starfarer as far as the playstyle of being a tanker. I can say with certainty that there are more people in the Star Citizen fan base that want to explore opposed to be a fuel liner, like that's pretty much a fact, that just people like to explore, and this kind of MMO open world type of exploration game just feeds that kind of desire. So many people want to be explorers, very few I think would actually want to do the fuel tanking. So what I see is, well, they are going to need fuel, so obviously we'll have NPCs that do that role as well if there's not enough PCs. And in that case, it's going to be a balancing act to figure out, okay, we've got to make it worthwhile for the people that want to play a ship like Starfarer, tanker. We got to make it worth their while, meaning they need to be getting something back, like credits for doing this. We can't
Yeah,
we
yeah.
can't saturate the space with NPCs that are just manning starfares so that gas is easily accessible. Because when you do that, then it's going to lessen the chance that people actually want to play as a tanker, because you're like, well, the NPCs are selling at cheap prices. I'm not making any money on this anyways. Supply and demand is not on my side. So like, I think it's gonna be kind of a balancing act, and I'm a little bit worried how they're gonna do it. But hopefully it works out great for the Starfarer fans. But
And yeah, and also with the Starfarer, there's still always that option that I mentioned. Well, hopefully there'll be that option that I mentioned earlier. Just throw a couch back in the back there and just chill for a while.
yeah, I doubt
Uh,
that. But
yeah, if it happens, I will be so happy,
yeah,
just so happy.
I'm sure they
Um,
have plenty of other like actually useful implementations that they will be doing before they
okay, come on. All right,
before they
just
do the couch
whatever. If
thing.
we can customize our hangar, there's nothing saying we can't customize our
Yeah,
cargo.
I suppose. I suppose.
But yeah. But also, if you're in a tanker, you're a big target
Yeah.
because obviously fuel is going to be valuable, and
Well,
a band of pirates might want to, take all that fuel and
that is
either use it
that
for
is
themselves or
entirely
sell it.
true. But it was also mentioned. I read a pretty good post by someone. I think it was in another video that I saw, and I kind of my thoughts aligned. So you know how people can scan your ship for your cargo, and say
Hmm.
you are transporting nothing but fuel. What if that fuel is very highly volatile to fire, or electric weapons or something like that? Like energy based weapons. So you got to think about it as like, who would actually want to go ahead and take the risk of blowing up all that fuel trying to get it? You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, you can just salvage the Starfarer afterwards, but I mean, if you're carrying just fuel, like who wants to go blow up a fuel tanker? I know that there will be ways to disable it, but at the same time, who's to say the person in the Starfarer doesn't just blow it up?
Yeah.
So
Trolls
I'm
would,
just saying,
trolls would love that.
if I looked at it in terms of, something I would actually steal, I'd probably go for more solid cargo and
Yeah.
maybe something that they can jettison out of their ship fairly easily. Like, I talked about this in the organization. We had the topic of, are pirates bad? I mean, obviously pirates are needed, but at the same time, it's like, what if there's a pirate that doesn't actually destroy their victims immediately? Like, what they do is they actually just hold them up as if like a bandit holding up a train and forcing them to drop their cargo and letting them go. I'm saying that's still not good, but that's not as bad as a pirate that shoots first and then takes later. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
Yeah.
like hail
in
the.
that kind of situation, I would kind of like say, well, it would be more worth it for that type of pirate to go for solid cargo versus liquid cargo. Because, I mean, I don't know if you can strap those giant uh, tanks onto anything other than a Starfarer.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, like you might have things you could say. Well, we need this fuel, so you're gonna follow us, or we're gonna kill you. If you have a band of people.
I mean, yeah, that's totally understandable, but at the same time, it's like the longer you have them with you, the more risk you're going to take because he could be calling friends over.
Yeah, or he
You know,
Yeah, I
just
know, but like, yeah,
kamikaze.
but you put like, yeah, I guess, I know, yeah, I know what you're saying. That raiding a fuel tanker is big risk because, yeah, obviously the fuel it could be pretty unstable when it comes into contact.
And you gotta think on, like, the only way they're transporting this fuel out of there is in any meaningful way is having another tanker come take it, or hijacking the ship itself and just taking
yeah,
it, because you can't like go in there and take a crate of it out. It's kind of
Mhm.
like it's in there. So yeah, I would see, just it's like, in a pirate's eyes, I would see the freelancer is an actual worthwhile financial endeavor. The Starfarer is just good fun. It's just, you want to
yeah.
see, you just want to see someone's world burn down. So that's what I
Yeah,
kind of
I'd say
see.
it's way too much work for what it is. I
Yeah,
think fuel is going to be very expensive, but at the same time, if you have to go through all that trouble to even bring something that has the ability to carry those tanks away with you,
yeah,
I mean, at that point, it's like, well, if you have a Starfarer, why don't you just go farm or
exactly.
mine or harvest the gases yourself?
Yep.
Yeah.
So cool, cool. All right. Well, that wraps us up for this week. Thanks for joining us. Thank you to Driving and Canadian Egg. Have a great week, you guys.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
And we'll see you next time.